every year, the Andrew Carnegie Fellows program recognizes and funds scholars around the world who are making an impact through their studies. Among them, this 2022 is a Filipino shedding light on the truth behind online disinformation. Jonathan Ong joins us tonight from Boston. Thank you so much for joining us, Jonathan. Why did you focus your study on political troll farms and disinformation for hire companies?
So this is such an urgent problem for us, and this started in 2016. I really wanted to interview the people in troll operations. Who are they? How were they recruited into this kind of work? And I think we have done a lot in terms of unmasking, low-level operators, but we really need to see this as a thriving and booming industry in the Philippines, and we need to draw a lot more attention to it.
So where do they come from? Now that you've unmasked many of these trollers and troll farms, who are they? What do they do apart from being trollers?
Absolutely. So for many of them, trolling is just a side gig. It's a sideline job that they do, on the side from their respectable day jobs, doing corporate marketing, advertising, and public relations. Sometimes nobody is really called a troll. That's never their formal job title. It's sometimes PR associate, political strategist, social media community manager. So my work is trying to say that disinformation work is so normalized within creative industries. And there's ways in which we need to be exposing and talking about it more and understanding the people who are recruited into this. Sometimes out of also they're deceived into this, They think that they're actually going to be doing work for corporate brands like shampoo or soft drink brands, but suddenly they're assigned to do meme campaigns for a local mayor election.
Is it true what we see in these memes that there's just one troller and dozens of smartphones in front of him, and he just basically sends out messages on those different phones? Is that how they work?
So Rico, they're very professionalized. Some of them use state-of-the-art techniques when it comes to crafting their messages and also making sure that the right platforms are selected for those messages to get maximum reach. But some of them operate from within corporate boardrooms. These are respectable people would like to see themselves as such, and I think that's the kind of work that I'm trying to do. It's not just about heroes versus villains. Trolls are not just located in political strongholds of Ilocos or Davao. They're operating within respectable boardrooms in Makati, and that needs to be understood. And we need to talk about trolling as not just, the evil villains, but we're, in a way, very proximal and complicit to many of these kinds of activities.
And you told me, Jonathan, that most of these trollers are doing it on the side. It's their sideline. It's what you call their racket. Are they paid well?
So they're very paid very well. So for the entry level job, it's 15,000 pesos a month. So that's quite modest. For usually it's the young college graduate that they're really targeting, and obviously these college graduates are unable to also resist and say no when their very intimidating bosses tell them to do nasty memes, to open fake accounts. Syempre parang they see na may utang na loob sila to this person who gave them their first break in the industry.
Very interesting background about these trollers. Is there a way to disconnect them?
Yeah. So I think so some people say, starve the trolls. I think it really depends on each individual as well. 'Di ba na parang I don't think kailangan natin patulan each and every poster on our wall. I think that is very toxic. We also need to prioritize our own mental health. But if I can also just plug this podcast that just got launched this week, produced by Puma Podcast and co-hosted by Kat Ventura. It's called Catch Me If You Can. It's available on Spotify. We actually interview paid trolls and also reformed trolls, and we get to hear from their own words how they were recruited, how they justify this work, how these people, whether they have morals, how do these folks, sleep at night, and live with themselves.
This
So
is a very
we think
interesting topic
it's
for this
important.
podcast.
Yeah.
Can you repeat again the name of this program and the podcast for our viewers who are interested in
Yes.
knowing more about these trollers and the troll farms they're part of?
Yes, it's entitled Catch Me If You Can, available on Spotify.
Jonathan Ong, 2022 Andrew Carnegie Fellow. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word, and we are really very, very proud of you.
So much, Rico.